Oh, it's an inauguration,
We have elected ourselves as the first female president of the United States. So this is our inauguration.
bitches. I
We're
thought
two
it was
presidents,
Wakanda.
and our faces are going to be on money. So welcome. This is our first podcast, and we're the president of the United
Yes,
States. So here we go.
I'm Shaun.
I'm Nye.
And so, now, what would you say is the reason why we came together to do this podcast?
Okay, so I would say so. The name of the podcast, if we didn't make that clear, is that's what I'm saying. And really, the purpose of the podcast is just to kind of give our perspective, a female perspective of what's going on in our culture, whether it's politics or entertainment
Mhm.
or music or worldviews or whatever it is. This is kind of our spin on it. Um, so I guess how we came about it is, I don't know what we did. This is like stuff we talk about anyway, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think, we are the ladies in the place with style and grace, as Biggie recipes has said. So,
Right.
we grew up in a certain time. It was, during the 80s and the 90s, and it was a period of time that and I tell people this all the time, hip hop, that was the golden age of hip hop. And we have a love and appreciation for hip hop. I think everything that we do, live, breathe, see, whether it's culture, whether it's social issues, whether it's music, entertainment, everything kind of breathes life into, or comes out of our love and appreciation for hip hop. So that was, one of my reasons for wanting to start this, is just, being that little girl, remembering, asking my grandmother to buy the Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5. It was a 12-inch, and we went up to in the Bronx to go get the album. And I was a little girl,
Stand
to
up, BX. I'm in the Bronx.
hey, you are to hanging out with, not the On the Run Jay-Z, but the Hawaiian Sophie Jay-Z, like in real
Mhm.
life. So this is we speak from that generation. So I know that there are others like us out there. I know that there are others that love and appreciate the things that we do. And like I said on the website, that we're a weekly podcast. We're going to talk about some ratchet, but mostly from a woke perspective. Did you see what's his name? The Damon, the Wayans brother. He has a comedy show on Netflix, Marlon.
I tried to watch that, and honestly, like back in what was Living Color out? That was like the 80s, and that was the 90s.
That was the
So
90s.
so the 90s, I like the 90s. I like the Living Color. I kind of like but and I like Damon Wayans, and but to be honest, I can't really get with the comedy of Marlon Wayans. But hold on.
Really?
But let me go back. So the show that he had with his brother Sean, the Wayans brothers, was fucking hilarious.
Which
The
one was
episode,
that?
they had an
Oh,
episode.
the
This is
brothers. Was it called the
yeah.
brothers? What was it? Was
It was
called no, it was
it
called
was
something
called
else.
The
The
Wayans
Wayans
brothers.
brothers. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I thought that show was hilarious. They did this episode where
yeah.
they remade Good Times. Girl, I died. Every time I see the episode, I cry. It is hilarious.
I
And
remember them having a show. It was
yes,
funny, but you
it
you
was
didn't like
funny.
his you didn't like the wokish. I mean, I totally related to his whole thing. And he's 45 years old. He looks great.
He does
He
look good. He
Oh
does.
my goodness.
He
And he has
looks
grown
good.
children. I was just like, I was on the floor about that, cuz he looks great, he looks young, like he's not overdoing it, but the comedy to me was just where I needed it to be. And that's why he said, I'm not all the way woke, but I'm woke-ish. I love it. So, I'm sorry you didn't get into it.
I'll try it. I'll try it. But to me, it was. I always feel like his comedy, like he's trying to force you to laugh, and I don't like that. I like to laugh naturally. I always feel like he's trying to pull the laugh out of you.
How much did you see of his show?
Not. I don't really. I love comedy. I go to comedy shows. I watch comedy on TV. I love comedy.
My sister's a comedian, Shatara Curry. Check her out. Go ahead.
Right. So but I can't sit through a bad set. Like I can't even force myself to do it. So I may have seen maybe like 10 minutes of it, and I was like, I gotta turn this off because it just wasn't my cup of tea. No, it wasn't. It was maybe
Okay.
I'll revisit it, but
Just yeah, revisit it. It's on Netflix.
yeah.
You got it anyway. So just take a look at it, because I actually watched it twice. So I was saying that to say that his whole platform about being wokish, and I think that explains, at least for me, where I'm coming from, on this journey and learning things. I mean, like I said, we are women of a particular age. So, back in our 20s, we did things when we were in our 20s, and now as we get older, you're more quote unquote awake to certain things. So you have a different perspective. Maybe you might approach it from a love and hip hop perspective, but it's a your horizon is a little is a has been expanded. So that's where I wanted to come from, right?
Yeah, I can see that. I feel like from my perspective, I definitely come from a hip hop background. I'm from originally from Virginia, and I'm from the part of Virginia that's like by the water, Virginia Beach, Newport News, Hampton, and so Virginia is kind of an odd place. So depending upon where you live, it depends on the kind of music that kind of shaped you. So growing up, we used to have they didn't play hip hop on like the regular
Mhm.
radio station. It was on the AM station. It came on at 4 o'clock. It was called WARP, and it was staticky as shit. But I used to work the antenna just right so I could listen to it. And that really, like hip hop, really. I remember coming home from school and sitting in front of the TV and watching. It was Rap City and Yo MTV
Yep.
Raps, and I would just sit there for hours, and we would tape the videos,
I
and
used
I
to
would
tape
just
them. Did
watch.
you with your VHS on a VHS tape,
Yes,
right? Yep.
yes. I would
Me
go.
too.
I would in my cassette players. I would record stuff off the radio. I would write down lyrics. It was a great time for music back then. It was a great time for music, but and that kind of and you would think sometimes you would grow out of certain stuff and maybe elevate and start listening to jazz when you turn 40, but
Yeah, I can't stand. I just, you know what?
and
I,
I
I,
do listen
I
to I can listen to it in spurts, but I listen to hip hop. I get into a little bit of R&B, but hip hop is just what I listen to. I listen to the old stuff. I
it's
listen
in
to
my
a lot
blood.
of new stuff. I just love it. I love it.
And just speaking on, I know you said, speaking on your roots. I my roots started in New York, and that's where hip hop started. Whether you say it was the BX or Uptown or back in Brooklyn, I can remember, like I said, back in the day, I was a little girl, and I would ask for these records. Like I said, my first record was Grandmaster Flash. Going up in the Bronx and getting these records to play, and hearing it on the radio, whether it was WBLS or Hot 97. I don't even think existed at that time. It was, it was a period of time on a radio station where you could hear Dolly Parton, and then the next minute you'll hear the Sugar Hill Gang. That's how it was. But whether it was my family, my upbringing, I was always right there in the midst. So, I am hip hop, damn it.
So speaking of hip hop, Netflix. I don't know if you know, but they have a movie coming out about Roxanne Shante.
I heard. I think
I
you put
can't
me on
wait.
to that. I can't wait. When is that? When is it? Let me put it in my calendar right now
Yeah,
so
let
I
me look
do
it up.
not miss that.
It comes out this month, March. I'm thinking like either this week or next week.
I'm gonna tell you in a
But
minute.
highlight of the thing is Mahershala Ali is in it, and that is my chocolate drop. Oh my god,
Oh,
I love him.
wait. Now I have a what do they call it when you have a because you're talking about, and he's that's a beautiful black man.
Woo, child.
But one of the things that we could talk about it in a minute was the acceptance speech that um what is the name of the guy? Okay, first, did you see the movie Moonlight?
Yeah, I've seen it. I saw it twice.
Did you? Oh, so it means you must have liked it.
I love I loved it for so many different reasons.
Girl, I
Okay,
felt tricked.
let
I
me.
was-
Well, you know what? I didn't know. I kind of. Well, I didn't really know what it was about. I just knew that he was in it, and
I
I
felt
knew,
tricked.
and
I felt bamboozled. I couldn't
I
believe.
well, I knew he was in it. I didn't really know the whole premise of the movie. So
Okay,
I didn't know the whole premise of the movie, but I love the movie for several reasons. Let me tell you why. So the
mm-hmm.
first reason I loved it is because I love some chocolate eye candy. So and that was
Okay,
like
okay.
all
Enough
throughout
respect.
the whole. I loved
Absolutely.
it. I loved it.
Get
Second
it?
of all, Second of all, I love that it showed humanity between black men, whether it was the romantic love or if it was just the brotherly love or the fatherly role model type. I just love that it showed that because in relationships between men and women and black men and women and black men, they're it's complex. And what we normally see on TV is that they're always like combating each other. There's always like some sort of aggression going on. And I love that it showed like a genuine love between these different characters.
Maybe if I was put on a bit of notice as to what I was getting into, I could have maybe appreciated it on that level. But because I felt the premise was so much about this coming of age of this little boy, growing up on the whatever other side of the tracks, I was not expecting that, which was, the love between, him and the other guy. So, I mean, when I saw, I mean, it was like a jaw drop. If I had a known, I just felt like if I had a just, and I'm one of those people, I will see it, whether the bad reviews or no reviews, I'll go and I'll see it the first day. But I do have a a fire stick, so things have changed in my life. But I just felt like I needed a little bit of notice, because this was a movie I was taking my kid to. And I don't know if I would have, had I known what the premise was, and I just could have dealt with it a little differently.
I mean, it was. I don't.
And you don't think that was the premise? You don't think that?
Yeah, it was the premise, but I wasn't that shocked. I mean, because I kind of read up on what it was about, so I wasn't like.
I didn't. I just let it go. I went.
I wasn't totally shocked about it.
I didn't.
I knew about it, but when I first heard about it and I kind of heard about what it was about, I didn't know the details of it. So I was like, I don't know if I'm going to go see this because I didn't know if Mahershala was like
a major character.
No, not a major character. I didn't know if he was like a predator in the movie, and if he was, I wasn't gonna go see it.
You didn't want the dream to be ruined.
I didn't want to be ruined. I don't like stuff like that. So, did you ever see Beast of No Nation on Netflix?
No, but I heard it's on my list of movies to watch. I favorited it.
So this one, okay. So beware. I'm giving you the premise now. So
okay.
I was blindsided by this. Because I didn't really read
it. The whole thing. Okay.
I'm not gonna give it to you, but I was kind of blindsided because I didn't really know what it was about. I just knew it was set in Africa. I knew Idris Elba was in it.
Right.
And when I started watching it, I was disgusted. I was disgusted, and I finished watching it just because I vested myself in it, and so I wanted to finish it. But I never watched it again, and I was like, I wasn't expecting that, and I don't like to see situations like that. I just can't stomach it. So,
all right. So we're gonna do a part 2 next week because I'm gonna watch it. It's already done. I'll watch it.
Yeah. So go ahead and watch it. We can talk about it. So when I first heard about Moonlight and I kind of read on it and I was like I wasn't clear what I knew it was. It was based on a boy coming of age and his sexuality, and I knew Mahershala was in a lot of the commercials or the spots for it. So I just wanted to make sure that he wasn't in like a predatory kind of relationship with this kid, because I wouldn't have watched it if that was the case. But I thought it was a very beautiful story because as much as we try to this society tries to stigmatize homosexuality, this is nothing new. This has been going on since man has been on earth. You know what I'm saying? And whether it's wrong or whether it's right, it ain't for me to say, it ain't for you to, it ain't for nobody to say.
Right.
We all sin in some sort of way. And I think at the end of the day, out of everything that people do, all of the activities and jobs and whatever we do, at the end of the day, all we want is somebody to love us. That's all we want. And if you can get that from whoever you can get that from, and it's pure love, then get it.
That's what I'm saying, girl.
Life is hard. You know what I'm saying? Life is hard.
You are right. That's what I'm saying. Okay. All right. Well, look.
Go ahead. I just want to say real quick. So the little boy that was the main character in that, I forget his name.
He played Sharon.
Sharon. He's in The Shy. Have you been watching The Shy?
You know what? I watched 2 episodes of it, and I
Oh
got
my
to
god.
pick back up because
Yeah.
it dragged a little tiny bit, but
I
I liked it. I think his acting is excellent.
that
I
little
love
boy.
him.
If I had a little boy, I would
You want
want
him
him
to
to be
be
my little
in?
boy. He is so adorable. I think he's just the cutest little thing. I want to give him a hug. But anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, I like The Shy. I'm gonna pick it up. I have so many. We probably have to dedicate just a minute or two to like all the shows that we're watching, gonna watch, soon to be watched, and
Mhm.
at some point because it's.
Mhm.
I mean, like I told you, that Fire Stick is life. So I have to like plan. It's a
Right.
shame. Like the one thing I did do was I did go to see, and I know you did too. We all went to Wakanda, and
Mhm.
I paid my Black Panther dues twice. Let
Good.
me tell you. Somebody has uploaded one of the finest videos on Fire Stick. And I mean, I literally could have just Wakanda playing in the background all day, every day. But
Mhm.
that Fire Stick is life. I'm putting one in every room in my house.
Oh wow.
It's
Wow.
it's it's so life. Like I'm watching.
I
I just paused the Annihilation.
okay.
That's in the movie theater now. I wanted to see that. With the chick that was in that terrible movie that's Black Swan. I can't think of the name, but one of the most terrible movies I've ever seen is Black Swan. But she's in
Mhm.
Annihilation, and it's like I was gonna go to the movies to watch this. Oh, how dare I? So anyway, I a girl, I'm telling you, it's the best. I think I paid $35 for it. That's the best $35 I have ever
For
paid.
your fire stick.
Yes, I let my
I think
brother do
I have
something to
one.
it.
Do I have a?
It's actually it's Terrarium. It's the Fire Stick, but it's the program Terrarium that I downloaded to the Fire Stick that has breathed life into my cinematic viewing.
Mhm.
It's unreal, girl. It's unreal. But anyway, okay. So I think I wanted to. Okay, so we just have to take it a little ratchet now, but I think this member needs to be spoken upon.
Oh Lord. Hold on. Let me brace myself. I need a seatbelt on. What are we gonna talk about? Are we gonna talk?
I hear
What are we talking about? Oh my God.
explosions,
Who is it?
explosions, everything. Girl, Safari and his unit. Good
Yeah.
Lord,
And can we even say it was a unit? We need to create a whole new name for it because it's
girl,
just like
that
that thing.
that thing right there. And this is why I'm saying it's a beauty about black men. We as black women, we put up with a lot of ratchet, put up with a lot of shit. But
Wow.
really, I mean, you got to understand what digmatized is. Just being under the dick spell, like
Mm,
that thing was so beautiful. If it has a church, I'll worship at the church. when is the prayer service? I'll be there. I'll be there in the morning.
who knew? Who
Good Lord,
knew?
um Nicki Minaj knew.
She
And
sure did. She
that
knew.
eggplant, that's the
How long were
eggplant
they?
Negro.
They were together for what, like 10, 11 years, for a long time.
Like I think since she was like a teenager up
Yeah.
until recently. I mean, like that
Yeah.
thing, girl. And you know what I say about you want to be skewered. You want. If it can reach out of your mouth, it's doing things. Okay, like that. Look, I'm a connoisseur, a dick connoisseur, and good Lord, if there needs to be an award, there needs to be a Hall of Fame or something. And I mean, he's not a real big guy. So you can see all of that meat is right where it needs to be.
Right. Right. And
Massive.
it is
Massive.
it is massive. And I just I don't even know how I want to say this. I want to say something, but I don't know.
Say it,
I
say it. That's what I'm saying. Say it, say
but
it.
a lot of from what I've heard,
Hmm.
what people have told me, that a lot of slim guys like that are well endowed like that.
Have you heard this from me? No, I'm just joking.
I'm not gonna tell you who my sources are.
I've heard that,
That
and
so
it makes sense. I mean, look, it is a muscle. So if you're not necessarily working out all the other muscles,
mhm.
you're working out That one has plenty of time to grow, and I mean, but it's a gift. It truly is a gift from God. It truly is. It's just,
It is. God,
and I. Mm,
yeah, yeah.
and they get they don't it if you got a little unit, you got to do a lot of extra work. You got to do a lot of tricks and a lot. You got to have a lot of Cirque du Soleil going on. But if you
If you have a small penis, you need you. It is imperative that your oral game is
imperative,
1,000.
absolutely that. You know
No way
what? That should
around it.
be that absolutely. You should not walk out your door with the intent of having sex with any female
Mhm.
if your dick is small and you don't have any tongue game. It should
Yeah,
never happen ever. And
learn
for
that
real,
early.
we need to have a
Learn
hashtag
that
for that
early.
shit. Learn that. Teach the young ones. We're gonna teach the young ones.
Teach the youth. Teach the youth, the young black youth.
Like
You teach them the truth.
like for real. It should never be spoken. You mean you got a little dick? You girl.
Yeah.
One thing we this week. I mean, we talk about
And
dicks a
I,
little.
oh God, I can talk about dicks for a long, and I don't even know how much I want to say because
Well, let's say this out because I wanted to touch on our friendship, and not that our friendship has a lot to do with talk, but we talk. I mean, look, now you and I have been friends for over 2 decades, right? Like
Mhm.
we've been through a whole lot. We've seen a whole lot. We've been through a whole lot. We experienced a whole lot. Every relationship that we've pretty much ever had,
Mhm.
we know about.
Yep.
Anything. So, which also means we've gone through any relationship that we've pretty much ever been in. We've been in together. Like every person I've ever been with. I pretty much know every person you've ever been with.
Mhm.
So there's been a lot of dick talk.
Let me tell you, I can talk about sex and dicks all day long. If
Yeah,
I
pretty
can't talk
much.
about nothing else, I can talk about it all day long. And
I'm
I'm
with you
not
on that.
squirmish about it, and I don't understand women who are squirmish because you like dick,
Absolutely.
so why you
Absolutely. I
can't
mean,
talk about it?
we
You know what
you
I'm
know
saying?
where you came from. You know what we do here. We know what we do for a pastime. We know how much fun it could be. So, I
Right.
mean, and I think a lot of our show is probably going to gravitate toward. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
New dick, old dick, reminisce dick.
Remember-
I reminisce, whatever. Woo, Hall of Fame. Look, uh,
Whoa, Hall of Fame.
oh, yep. So this, that,
Hall of
look,
Fame and Hall of Shame.
Hall of
I got stories on both.
Me too. Who like you are still who's still in the running? I already know. So
No comment.
we will definitely be able to address some of the things that we have come across in our lives related
Yeah.
to sex.
Yeah.
Most definitely. So okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
So what else did you want to cover? What's another thing you wanted to cover before I run my mouth?
Oh, I did want to talk about this is to kind of put our ratchetness on hold. I did kind of want to talk
Hmm.
about the Brazilian woman that got murdered. I don't know if you read the story. Her name is Marielle
No.
Franco, and she was like 38, young woman, young mother, and she spoke out a lot about police brutality and the treatment of gay. She was also gay. Treatment of gays, of women, of black people in Brazil, and she was murdered like a couple days ago, like
I
by
haven't heard about
assassin.
this. By a
Yeah,
what?
assassin. They shot
Really?
up her car. And so the people of Brazil, they kind of they're protesting for her. They went up to the Capitol building. And it's a big thing in Brazil right now. Brazil has the largest amount of Africans outside of Africa. They have a
Yep.
huge black population, and you know, I remember as a kid, um, I had a friend. We went to the same middle school and we went to different high schools, but we remained friends. And this sounds so silly, but we were gonna
Hmm.
we were gonna run away to Brazil.
To do what?
Cause she hated her home life, and my home life wasn't bad, but I was a
Sounds
kid.
good. Hmm.
I was a kid. I was going through some things, so
How
it
are
was.
y'all gonna get there?
That's a great question.
I
That is,
mean,
girl,
is it
no,
a Greyhound bus?
not a. I don't know if Megabus went there. I don't know what we were thinking. Did we take Megabus? I'm not sure. But
Um,
the thing is, I brought that up is because she used to say that there's no racism in Brazil, and I kind of grew up thinking that too. And until
mm,
I started reading and knowing more about the world, and Brazil is racist. They have those favelas, and they're very, very racist,
oh yeah.
as in most places, all the places on this continent. But they're behind us. Like we had our civil rights movement in the 60s and the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of going through their civil rights movement now.
Right.
So anyway, so she died, and so hopefully it's gonna bring about some change in their society and their government. So I just kind
Wow.
of want to give her a moment, a little shout out, because
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying, she risked her life, she gave her life to a cause, and you know
Wow. And so what? So they're going to the government, and what are they seeking? What are they
I
asking
guess it's
for?
just a protest. I don't know all the details. I don't know. Hopefully, it's a little bit more organized than what we do over here in the United States, where we just
Mm-hmm.
protest and nothing happens. So hopefully, it's more organized
What you
and they
mean?
have some
What you mean? The
structure to it.
signs ain't enough?
you know, the T-shirts ain't enough. The hashtags. So, not to make light of people who are doing the work here in the United States, but you know. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to come out of it, but I am following it, and I just kind of want to give her a little shout out, just in
Yeah. So
recognition for
let's
all the work that she
yeah.
did over
So
there.
let's make sure to just keep a pulse on that and what's going on there, and um, shout out to them
Yeah,
and prayers to
yeah.
them moving forward. You
Her
know,
name is Marielle Franco. If any of you guys want to go and look her up, Marielle
Mario
Franco.
Franco. Okay.
Hmm.
Well, I wanted to talk since we've kind of gone through the ratchet minute. I can't go back ratchet, right? I can.
We
You
could
can.
always go back. There's
Okay.
always time for Ratchet.
Well,
So
let me do a woke minute. So I wanted to touch on the missing CDC worker, Timothy Cunningham. Did you hear about that?
I
Where
didn't.
he um he worked for the CDC, a black man, and he was in that would be he was in DC or he's in Atlanta. Let me get my facts straight. In any case, I think what's very interesting is his high rank. This man was at work probably like 3 weeks ago. Said he was sick, had some weird conversations with his next door neighbor, told a neighbor, erase my number out your phone, told his parents, erase my number, and then disappeared. Left his dog, his phone, his keys, his car, left his home, and has not been seen since. And, a lot of things that just kind of, resonates with me about the story is that the fact that he was such a high ranking official for the CDC, that he was in the midst of, certain germs, the Ebola virus,
Yeah,
and
I did hear about him. Yeah.
yeah, doing the research on that. But also, I think, and I'm a conspiracy theorist, right?
Hmm.
I I look at everything with a side eye. We live in a matrix, I'm trying to be Neo out here all the time.
Hmm.
So I'm really following the story because when it came up it was kind of like a little blip on during the news, and his parents, where you see how worried they are, and they drove down from Maryland to try to find out what was going on. And they were saying, it was maybe job related, he was up for promotion and he didn't get the promotion. But I mean, you got to think, we live in a day and age where they're putting chemtrails in the sky.
Hmm.
There's biological warfare, this whole thing that we have with Russia, which a lot of it is about, them being able to hack our nuclear systems and hack our grids. But also, biological warfare is a war nobody wants to fight. How can
Right.
you fight that when,
It's in the
the
air.
enemy is amidst us in the air? So, I think there's more to the story. I'm definitely following it. My prayers and my thoughts are to Timothy Cunningham and his family, and hopefully, for his safe return. But I think he knows something. Obviously, he knows something. And I don't know if he was in the midst of trying to disseminate some information or get some information out there, or if he knew too much, or what it was. But I think this is it's a monumental story that's just becoming getting itself unfolded. So I want to definitely follow that.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of those scientists that have kind of broken away from the matrix of what their jobs were and kind of wanted to bring to light some of the information that's hidden. A lot of them come up dead. A
Yep.
lot of them do.
And that's what they're saying, or it's reported that they committed suicide,
Hmm.
or one of the something like that. So I'm really, my thoughts and prayers are with them, because I'm hoping that's not the case. But I think there's so much more to the story, so we're definitely going to be following it in the
Yeah.
weeks ahead.
Yep.
So yeah. So what else did you want to talk about?
Oh, let's see. I don't know. What can I say? Well, I don't know.
I wanted to talk about how proud I am of my babe, Michael B. Jordan, and the inclusion clause that he
Hmm.
is demanding in all his contracts. Did you hear about that?
I did. I did. And another actress also did that from. Did you watch? Did you see the Note?
Fran-
Which was it?
Frances
Good.
McDormand, which she was
Yeah.
in. I mean, I saw Fargo. She was in Fargo
Mhm.
a long time ago. So she actually put it in. Loved her for it, but it was like crickets. Nobody said anything.
Mhm.
They were silent. So big hand to him for making that. That's a power move. That's
Yeah.
saying, like, I ain't coming to your shit, and I ain't gonna be on your shit if you ain't got my shit. I love it.
Right.
I
Right.
love it. And
Mhm.
I'm hoping that this will, this is, it's not just a Colin Kaepernick thing, and that everybody will get up and stand up and do the same thing, especially in Hollywood, because look, man, we living in the age of Wakanda. Like, this Black Panther time.
Yeah.
This is when everybody is standing up. We everybody is happy.
Mhm.
This is like Obama and Michelle part two.
Yeah.
Seriously,
And
just
he should really be commended for that because he's relatively young. He's been doing in entertainment for a while, but he's young and his career is
he's like
just kind of taking
28.
off. So yeah, he's I think his early 30s, but he was in The Wire, so he's
Oh, he's
been doing this for
30.
yeah, he's been doing this for a while. So, but his career is really taking that is really on a trajectory of like just kind of shooting up. So it's awesome that he is that he's taking a stance.
I love it. I love it. So I'm just hoping that others will support him in the cause and do the same thing, because it could be a torrential change for Hollywood, and even reverberate in other places as well. So I'm
Hmm.
loving it. I'm loving it. Yep.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um.
and real quick, speaking of
Mhm.
Black Panther, the I don't know, have you hold on, I'm trying to get this guy's name now. I can't even think of it. But the director of Black Panther, what's his name?
Um. I know. I can see it. I can see his face.
Hold on, I'm looking it up right now. Should have this.
Hmm. He directed Creed.
He directed Creed. So I love watching interviews of just interviews of these celebrities, and this guy is really a smart guy.
Ryan Coogler is his name.
Yes, Ryan Coogler. You have to watch some of his
Hmm.
interviews. He's very,
I've
very.
seen quite a
I think.
few. I've been, after the movie came out. I mean, it was Black Panther
Yeah.
Central here at my house, 24/7. So anything Black
Mhm.
Panther was, whether it was YouTube, Netflix, we watching it. So I definitely
Mhm.
got to see a few, and 31 years old. I love that a young guy. You could tell he's from Cali.
And you know what?
He's got that Cali swag.
That's the one. That's I
Hmm.
think that's the main thing I was really impressed with is that he's from San Francisco. He's from Oakland actually. He's from Oakland. You could tell he's from
Yeah.
Oakland. You know what I'm saying? He also
Hmm.
directed that movie about the kid that got shot shot and killed
Fruitvale
by the cop.
Station.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fruitvale Station. Which I saw that one.
Which
That
Michael
he
B. Jordan was in.
yeah, with him, and they're gonna do some more movies together. But he I just really enjoy. because that when I watch interviews, that kind of is my go or not go, or whether I like somebody. Because if I like
Mhm.
somebody in a movie and I see an interview and I'm like, this dude's a damn idiot, I can't. Or artist,
Mhm.
I really have to believe that this person is like, intelligent and can put sentences together and like very thoughtful. You know, but yeah, his interviews are just excellent. I
Mhm.
love his story. I love the story of he and his wife, how he was a student. He was a student
Yeah.
athlete, and he wanted to go into filmmaking. She bought his first the program you use to do screenplays. I just love it. I love
Mhm.
his
I heard
story.
that.
Yeah, I
That
love
should
it.
be a movie.
It should
Yeah.
be.
I'm like so proud. They're like, well, the Black Panther made like $1 billion. Like, I want him to have every bit of it. He deserves it. It's amazing work, Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
Yay! I
He's
love
one of
it.
his interviews. He talked about when he before he started directing Black Panther, he was like, I have to go over to Africa because he'd never been. And I love the way he weaved in stories of how he grew up and some of the traditions that he grew up with, and how they were the same traditions that were over in Africa. Because some people try to
Mm.
separate, saying, we over here in America, we're not
We ain't
African, and the
gonna.
Africans are over there.
Hmm.
But we're here, but we're still African. A lot of that stuff, a lot of those traits, and a lot of those
We still got it in us.
our mannerisms, the way we talk, the way we
Hmm.
dance, like all of that stuff just doesn't just
Because it's in
evaporate
our
into
blood, right?
it's in
You
your
can't. How
blood.
you gonna get rid of it when it's in your blood?
Right. So I love the way he talked about that. I loved it. So anyway,
Okay.
so I will be on the lookout for more of his stuff. I'm a big fan now.
I love him too.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on what I watched last night. I was telling, and I'm gonna watch the second episode of it. I watched the Aaron Hernandez Uncovered story. Did you see it on
I did
Oxygen?
not. Mm-mm.
It was two. I watched it 2 hours. I was mesmerized. Just I mean, what undoubtedly what came through to me is that the NFL basically signed a serial killer, but I think what drew him to be a serial killer was the fact that he was living a double life, and he was gay and didn't want anybody to know. I think that was the whole motive for him to kill. The reason why he did what he did, and he ultimately ended his life. When it was all gonna come out. So I'm gonna invest another 2 hours for tonight because it's the finale, and they're gonna kind of tie it, the confessions that he made to his attorney. But it was just it was like a fairy tale story of this young guy who made it in the NBA and the NFL, fourth round, mind you, because he had some issues before the draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
But had a fairy tale kind of existence. 20 some years old, signed a $40 million contract, big house, got the fiance, beautiful child, and still it's about the people that it's about the people that you surround yourself with, because you could see it was the people that he was around, that trying to live that thug life, them.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand a fake ass thug, a thug for no reason, a thug without a cause. I can't stand it. And really, when you see these young men,
Mm-hmm.
he had looked up to his father, and his father was in his life, but his father passed away when he was young. And they try to focus that a lot of his spiraling out happened after his father passed away, and was a large reason, for whatever reason it was. But he was, I don't, the man, let the man rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he could really live who he truly was. I mean, can you think how iconic would that have been for an openly or out, NFL player, bisexual player? I mean, now, we live in this day and age. It's not, is it couple years, even a few years, fast forward a few years, it's not that we'll hear it. It's not that big of a deal. But I mean,
Yeah.
back then, I mean, he took it so seriously. He took someone's life. That's my take on it. I'm gonna watch it tonight because I invested the first 2 hours, but it was interesting to see the rise and fall, and come to a conclusion as to how you think it might have happened.
Yeah. I definitely will watch that because
Yeah.
I remember some articles maybe like a year or two ago that talked about that, how it was coming to light where he was gay and had these, I guess, homosexual affairs, and wasn't his girlfriend's brother found out or something?
And that's the one that he killed, right?
Yeah.
It was his fiance's sister's boyfriend.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that's probably what it was. He was probably going to expose him, and and the dude took him down the street from his house and killed him like less than a mile away from his house. And
Mhm.
and then went back home like nothing. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. So, yes, I will be watching. If you're going to watch, let me know.
What is it called?
It's called Aaron Hernandez Uncovered. It's on Oxygen.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's I like the way that it's very well directed. It's not sensationalized. They
Mhm.
don't do a lot of they have a lot of pictures of him. It's not a lot of interviews that you see of him. But the girlfriend or the fiance is being interviewed. His girlfriend in college who
Mhm.
said, she was like, "Look, I knew he had some issues with his sexual identity in college."
Mhm.
And his lawyer is an out his gay lawyer was like, he told me many times, he was very conflicted. And I
Mhm.
think that's, but they won't say that he committed the murders, but I mean, for
Yeah.
what other reason was it for? So yeah, it's worth a look see. It's worth a
I'll
look
take a
see.
look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take a look. I'm
Right.
always on the search for TV, a
Okay.
good show. So,
uh, what
all right, what we
about
got next? What are we talking about next?
let me see. I don't want to. I was in the woke minute, but I wanted to go back.
We can stay in a moment. Oh, we can go ratchet. We
Well,
can go
not
either
necessarily
way.
ratchet. What do you think about Jay-Z and Beyonce doing the On the Run tour too?
I think it's great. What I don't think is great
It's
are
the
the damn
price.
ticket prices.
That
What the
God damn it! I'm like, what?
what?
If I have to
Oh
put a
my
car note down to see Jay-Z and Beyonce, I'm
no.
good. I'm so good. I saw her some years ago when after she had first had blue, what's her name? Blue Light. I was about to call her Blue Light. Blue Ivy in Atlantic City. And she to me she has a stage presence like what's Cher. She reminds me of Cher for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Just with the whole theatric. It was a great show. And then did you and I go and see didn't we go see a show? I feel like we saw Jay-Z. Maybe I don't know.
No, I've never seen Jay Z in concert. I've seen Bey. I saw her. This is before Blue. I saw her on the Miss Carter show. Miss was that was before Blue. Miss Carter. So that was some years ago, and she puts on an amazing show. An amazing show.
Yes,
Amazing. I
I
would
was
definitely
like,
spend. I would spend a coin to go see her. I
so
would go.
are you paying $450 for nosebleeds? That's
No,
the question.
no, because I know Title is probably going to
Ah!
do a live showing of it, so I probably won't.
No, I'm so good. I mean,
Yeah. And
I,
like
I'm
I'll
just
pay. I love live music. I love going to concerts. But if I'm gonna pay, I need to be like close. I don't have to be on the floor,
I
but
need
I
to be
have
on
to be.
stage for $450. I need to have a chair like they have in the auditorium in your high school. I need one of
Yeah,
those.
it's
I'm not doing it.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
and especially when it's they're gonna live stream it. I'm pretty sure they're gonna live stream it on Title.
and you
Title,
can be
shout out
right
to
and you can
Title.
be right
Title gets
there.
my life.
Yeah.
I
You
love.
told me that. You told
Yeah,
me I need to get on
you
title.
have to get Title. I think they should hire me as their spokesperson because I talk about Title all day
You
long.
sure do.
The
I'm just
content
trying to figure out what's the
Title.
benefit.
The benefit they have the best hip hop content out
Okay.
there.
What do you mean,
Like
just
they
like
have
music?
podcasts,
Okay, podcast.
they have music, they have podcasts, they have interviews, they have playlists, they have they just have so like I literally spend all day
Your
listening to Title.
life. I have
I
Google
spend my
Play and
life
I'm
on
very
Title.
happy with it.
No, there's no I don't even know that is blasphemous that you just even said
I
that.
need you to stop because I am very
There's
happy with my Google Play. Okay.
Let me tell you, Tidal has a free 6 month trial. Sign up for 6 months. It is free, and you will see what I'm talking about. It
I
is
will do
their
that. You
content
did tell
is
me that. I
amazing.
said I'm gonna start it if I can do it maybe like the summer. That'll be my title summer. I started in the summer. I will, and I'll see what you
Okay.
talk.
I'm just saying it is the content is just the content is just amazing.
Okay.
It's amazing. They have playlists for days. They have just everything. I love Title.
Okay.
Uh,
All right. Well, I'm gonna get on it.
I was just watching they have this podcast Rap Radar and they were interviewing
Yes, yes, I know Rap Radar, but I
right.
listen to
So
Rap
it's
Radar
Elliot
on YouTube.
right. So it's Elliot Wilson and B Dot. So they were interviewing. I just watched the interview with Jermaine Dupri and I had to actually I wanted to get your opinion. So
Hmm.
um Jermaine Dupri has a he has a lot. He has accomplished a whole lot.
Yes.
Like when I think of Jermaine Dupri, I'm like, yeah, he had So Def, he had this, and maybe because I'm from the South, but mainly the hip hop I listen to is like,
But he's from the South.
right. So what I'm saying is,
Mhm.
I'm from the South, but mainly the hip hop that I listen to is not really. Now I listen to more Southern hip hop, but back in the day, doing like, I listen to a lot of, Jay Z now. I listen to a lot of that hip hop. Um, so Jay Z, not Jay Z, Jermaine Dupri was there, but he
Mhm.
wasn't like, oh, Jermaine Dupri. So, but when he actually, so he doesn't really get the praise that he actually deserves because he has a
Mhm.
lot of accomplishments, a
I,
lot of
I
accomplishments, a lot
totally
of
agree with
songs he
you.
wrote,
I totally agree with you.
a lot of songs he wrote, a lot of beats
Mhm.
he produced, his groups, like he, and
I totally agree. I think the game changer for me on Jermaine Dupri was the Drink Champs episode. Did you watch that one?
I haven't watched that.
Now, I mean that because, like you said, I mean, I just thought like, I mean, I like Jermaine Dupri, switching 4 lanes and the Barack, that whole thing. But I did not recognize his contribution to hip hop and just how long he's been in the game. From Crisscross to, to Brad to, all moving forward and I really didn't know until I saw him on Drink Champs and that man
Yeah.
could drink too. So, what's your question you gotta ask me?
Well, it wasn't really well. The question
It
was,
was,
did
it was
you
a
really?
statement question.
Well, it was a statement question. It was a rhetorical question. It was rhetorical. Like I just never put him in the category. So the thing is that B Dot was saying that he's not in his top 10 of producers, and so now they're kind of
Well,
going back and forth about why not? Some of your favorite songs I wrote, I did the beat, so I don't this is what you're I don't understand
wow.
how I'm not in your top 10, but I can appreciate him a little bit more. You know,
Oh,
the Brat was the first female rapper to go platinum, which
oh
I did.
yeah, I did. I definitely knew that, and he was behind that 100%. And
Hmm.
then I didn't know how much Jermaine Dupri had he had contributed to when the whole Puff Daddy, the bad boy had, come across, and it was, what's his name? Mace. And he was like, he did that, like that, the Cheat on You song with Mace
Hmm.
and Lil C's and 112. I mean, Jermaine Dupri was a whole part of that. I didn't even really understand
Hmm.
that until I watched like I said, I was listening to the Drink Champs episode and learn,
It's like
um,
now he's on this little tour where like he's like, if you don't know, motherfucker, I'm gonna make you know right now. I'm gonna run down all my shit. And he been doing that. He been going making his little stops, his little interview stops, and running down all his accolades and accomplishments. I applaud him. That's cool.
I love, yeah, because I'm just looking at now. I mean, he did Ashanti's Good Good. He did Cameron's Rockin' and Rollin'. He did Alicia Keys' Girlfriend. He did Monica's Amazing. He did the
Mm-hmm.
Isley Brothers, Gotta Be With You, Fabulous and Trey Songz, The Last Time. That's my song.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Tamia, her song Still. I mean, Ludacris. I mean, TLC and that, like I said, Mace, which Cheat on You was on his Harlem World.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even know Jermaine. I just thought, I was like, what is Janet doing over there with this
He
dude?
did Data Kiss Hate in Your Blood. He did that beat.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. That was
Well,
his
all
beat.
praises due. He's a humble guy.
Mm-hmm.
Just his mannerism. I'm like, for all that he has contributed to
Mm-hmm.
hip hop, he's still a humble.
Yeah. Yeah.
appreciate him. I appreciate that about him. And you know,
And on top of all that, he dated Janet Jackson. He is shitting on all y'all on the
you know,
low. On the low. On the low. On top
like
of
who
all
else is saying that? Who,
right.
who,
Who else can
who's
say
saying
that?
that? Is your name Adnan, Kanani, whatever? The are you a sultan? No. So who's saying that?
All right, Jermaine.
Hmm.
I ain't mad.
Give props for props to do.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
What else you got, girl?
Oh, girl, I don't know.
I think look, how long have we been talking? You know, it's I like that we've been talking for like over an hour, right?
I
Okay.
think we started at maybe like 10, 15 once we got everything going.
Okay. So we've done I think we've done a good I think this is a good inaugural show. I feel like Michelle and Obama on
We're the
inauguration
president.
day.
We are the president. I announced that we are the new presidents of the United States. 2 female presidents. We're
Uh-huh.
the first female presidents of the United States. This is our inauguration
That's what I
podcast.
feel like. I definitely feel like that. So it's been great. And I'm hoping that, we have so much to talk about and it's so easy to talk with you. You're my girl. I love you forever.
Yeah.
So, I want to be able to share and bring it to the masses and because we got a whole lot to talk about here. It's
I do.
it's going to be a whole lot. So, how can they connect with us, Nye?
Okay, so we have a website. It's called That's What I'm Saying Podcast.com. So
Yeah.
check out our website. Sign up for our newsletter. You can also hit us up on our Instagram. That's what I'm saying. It's a podcast on Instagram. I
We
think
have
that's
to
what it
get that
is.
straight. I was
Yeah.
just gonna keep it on a Twitter. Like we're gonna get it together. But our Twitter is that's what I say 3, like the number 3. So that's what I say 3. So you can hit us up there and on our website, ask us any questions, tell us how we can make the show better for y'all because that's what we're trying to do.
Yep.
But we will be back next week.
All right, next week, y'all. It was a pleasure talking to all of y'all.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Peace.
Drop it on the random.